Welcome to the HTMA Success Practitioner's Corner, a special series in which Susan Cachay highlights the incredible work being done by graduates of the HTMA Success Practitioner Training Program.
Okay, welcome everybody. This is another edition of the HTMA Success Practitioner's Corner. And today we have one of our graduates, Tori. Thank you for joining me today. Just lovely to see you.
Good to see you too.
Wanted to go through a few questions with you and just find out how things are going. And one of the things I always like to ask is how HTMA has shaped or informed your approach to wellness. Like what has changed for you with that?
Right. Well, my journey with HTMA and mineral balancing started in November of 2023 when I was working with a balancing practitioner who also graduated from your program. And I signed on with her kind of skeptical because I was just, learning about mineral balancing. I knew with my history of chronic illness, I have a history of Addison's disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, some chronic pain, neurological pain. I had a lot of work to do. I had been on a healing journey for a couple of years, but I needed something more. And I signed on to work with her for 6 months. And during that time, I saw such significant changes in not only my body, but my mind, my mindset, my confidence. During that time, I knew that I wanted to get into holistic health coaching in some capacity. I was doing the integrative health practitioner program with Dr. Cabral as kind of like I don't know, getting my toes wet kind of thing. And in the section 2 of that, he does teach a little bit about HTMA, but it's just not comprehensive enough. It was not enough for me. And about halfway through working with my practitioner, I thought to myself, you know what, I really want to go deeper into this. I really need to, this is so fascinating. It's my body, my mind, everything is changing. And at this point in my life, I no longer am diagnosable with Addison's disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, or do I experience pain on a daily basis? So it's just been life altering. And I just knew that I had to use it to some capacity.
Yeah, amazing. Oh my gosh, I love hearing that. It's really interesting because I know there are a lot of practitioners that have been much better than I have been about posting testimonials on their social media. And I mean, certainly when you've gone through that yourself and you're able to say, what the program has done for you, that's so amazing. So how have you incorporated HTMA? Like, is it what you exclusively do now, or what does that look like?
So I am just starting my own personal business. It's been a slow start for me because my chronic illness was so intense that I had no capacity to work, and I was on disability for years. Even as just a young 30-year-old, I was on disability for years and had to really dig myself out of that hole of chronic illness. So I'm really just now starting to entertain the idea, okay, I think I'm ready to take clients. I've been working on my own, I've been reading my own HTMAs, and I've been working with a family member who really found it fascinating as well, and he's doing great. So right now I am about a month away from taking my first client. So I'm getting more excited, a little bit nervous, but more excited to kind of get back into the field. I worked in the medical field prior, and I was in school to go to PA school. And then I got sick and I just had no capacity to work, to go to school, to do anything. So this is just holistic health, and including mineral balancing and health coaching is, it really has changed my life and the trajectory of my future.
Yeah, you know what's amazing? I know you're going to just do wonderfully at this work, and any of your clients are going to be blessed to be working with you. So just no hesitancy in recommending you as a practitioner for sure. And what would you say would be the biggest lesson that I don't know, you recognized or that resonated with you in working with HTMA?
I think there was a moment about 2 months into working with the practitioner that I was with, that I noticed that, I was thinking maybe I would see some physical changes. I would have more energy, I would less pain and inflammation. I didn't know what to expect. But then when I started noticing that I had more emotional capacity, I had
Mhm.
mind shifts, things happening with my emotions, my confidence. Um, yes, my energy was, coming back and I was feeling great. But I think there's this emotional side to healing with mineral balancing that people don't really recognize a lot of the time, or don't they go into it not knowing how much of an impact it can bring. And I think that was a pivotal point. At one point, in the 6 months, my sodium to potassium ratio dropped to a 1, and I had something devastating going on in my life. And I just realized how much the mind and the body are just so interconnected, because in medicine, in Western medicine, you're not really taught that. And it's just more, it is more, I don't know. I guess I realize more how much um your emotional state and mindset is tied to minerals. It's amazing. It
It,
it
it really is.
it
Yeah.
continues to fascinate me.
It is. And, in the last community of practice call that I do with my practitioners, it was minerals and emotions. And I was saying that, wow, I mean, the call was 2 hours. We went overtime, but
Oh
that I
yeah.
could do a part two, and thinking about writing an ebook about it, because it's just so fascinating to me how the two are connected. And, Dr. Eck in his energy book,
Hmm.
really talks about that, how minerals affect our emotions, our emotions affect minerals, and you really can't separate the two. So I think it's so insightful that you notice so early on, and I notice that myself, and I hear that from my clients, how it's not only the physical health shifts that we notice, it's often things like, yeah, confidence and emotions. And it's fascinating to me when you actually look at healing the body as a whole system, right? And that's what this program is all about. And then HTMA, as wonderful it is the roadmap, because people use it in different ways, and we certainly use it for mineral nutritional balancing, where looking at the body as a whole system. But it is fascinating how everything is all connected.
Yes.
Absolutely. And what would you say if you were going to maybe give new practitioners or people just getting into HTMA and doing this work? What would be one piece of advice maybe you'd have for them now, kind of being on the journey yourself, and then taking the practitioner training and getting into setting up your own practice?
I think I'd have to go back to my own experience here, in that the biggest piece of advice I can give is, yes, the minerals matter, the patterns matter, what the hair test show the hair test itself, what it shows matters, but also the foundational health aspect of everyone's lives, doing a deeper dive on how's the person sleeping, their circadian health, their nervous system, even going as far as traumas, and digging deep. I feel like there's a lot of practitioners that maybe do that, and then there's some that don't, that are maybe scared to go deep with people. And I'm a person who really just wants to know that type of information, because that's so incredibly helpful in assessing, creating a protocol, and doing even just small changes throughout the day with someone that could really change their life, because that's how I healed, those very foundational and fundamental aspects of health. I would say also, to the practitioners who are doing and studying mineral balancing, do not discount foundational health. It is, and mineral balancing is foundational. It's the nutrients, the nutrition is such a large aspect of healing. Um,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And one of the things that's interesting that I kind of said in the last few years is that I think that there's a shift now and more people are becoming aware of this program and how the foundation, like you were saying, is so important, and that there's a lot of protocols in the last several years that they seem kind of more sexy, you know what I mean? Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's great. I'm going to kind of do that. And that seems exciting. And people kind of, I think, have forgotten that you need the foundation there. And oftentimes when the foundation is really solid and you've worked on that, you really don't need much else for many people, simply because the body starts to look after all of those things when the foundation is really, really stable. So
Exactly. And I can attest to that because I don't think I've ever, with all of the protocols I've been given, I've never taken a full dosage, but I've had so many amazing shifts in my health because I've had this amazing foundation. And I know there's a lot of push to detox, detox, detox. There's just so much energy put into people wanting to detox heavy metals just right out of the gate, especially with people who are suffering from chronic illness. And it's hard to convey how important just the very basic fundamentals of life are. What is your sleep
exactly.
like? What's your energy like? Are you moving? Are you going outside? It's
Yeah.
just so important.
Exactly. And I think what a lot of people miss, which I really, again, hit home in a lot of the practitioner calls that I do, and even with my own clients, is that the metals are often not just idly stored in the body. When people talk about heavy metal toxicity, they often miss the concept that a lot of those metals are being used by the body, right? In the body, instead of those preferred minerals, because those preferred minerals weren't available or in not enough quantity that the body had to kind of prioritize where it was going to use them. So it's not as though you can just do a cleanse or a detox and expect the body to become well without actually providing the building blocks so that the body will go, hey, yeah, you know what? I had this lead where this calcium should be because there was a shortage, but now I've got more of it coming in and it seems to be consistent supply. I'm ready to let go of this. And that's part of the reason why healing takes time too, right? To release the metals, then have the repair and healing and replacement happen. And that cycle just kind of continually happens over and over time, is really how you solve a problem with heavy metals, right? Because most of our exposures, it's different if somebody has, they're working in a lead mine and they have acute exposure, toxic exposure, but most of the people that have chronic health issues, even you're talking about your situation and certainly my situation, it's that those metals have replaced preferred minerals over time, right? And been laid down in the body. And so the body's just not functioning as well as it should be. So I just find this work still fascinating and amazing. And that's how we get the foundation more solid. So yeah, quite amazing. And I'm so excited for you to be getting into building your own practice. And for those of you who are interested in the HTMA Success Practitioner Training Program or interested in getting in touch with Tori, please look for in the description box below, and you'll find that information. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of these sessions. So thank you for joining me, Tori.
Thank you.